It's the worst of the CBC for August 3rd, 2019. And boy, today was a bad one. Usually these sometimes are funny and fun. We have a good time making fun of the CBC, but after what I saw today, this was a bad hour and a half of CBC for me today. So the stories isn't so much what were the stories on the CBC. This is really about all the omissions, the various things they did not cover. So what was on the news today? There was no news on the CBC. There was no news. Literally the most newsworthy thing was when they were covering the Caribana Festival and they literally showed some hot Caribbean women shaking their ass. That was literally the most newsworthy, well-reported on thing of the entire day. So what was the worst story? I mean, okay, yes, we're talking the manhunt was on there and there's a train overturned in Alberta, and okay, fine, those are news. But just climate alarmism, Kevin Spacey. Good news, though, apparently we're all going to die in 2050. So we've gone from 12 years to 10 years to 5 years to 18 months. Now we're at 31 years. So I think, is CBC climate deniers? Don't know. So, okay, all of it was bad. And there's really 8,000 omissions today. But I'll say the worst story on the CBC today was the Hong Kong riots. And this is more cumulative of me watching them cover the Hong Kong riots for a week. And I'm not saying they're not news, but there is one word that has not been said on the CBC about the Hong Kong riots. Can anyone guess what that word is? Communism. For not 1 second have they said the Communist Government of China or Communist Government of China, have not said what type of government is oppressing these people. What type of political system are they repelling? They want political reforms. From what? What do they want to reform? Do they want to reform democracy? Do they want to reform, libertarianism? What do they want to reform? The blank government of China. Communism. Say the word. They want communism gone in Hong Kong. They don't like the communist government. Communism bad. It was a bad day. So just so many omissions to the point where I was watching the news and I'm like, okay, now that we're watching sexy Caribbean women dance around and shake their ass, this is the only thing worth watching right now. So, as we know, Canada's a terrible place filled with terrible people, and Canadians are evil people, and we're Islamophobic and whatever. Now, they ignored the fact that last week the hate crime statistics came out for last year, and hate crimes across the board have gone down. Good. But one thing that usually gets attention is hijab hoaxes, or when someone sneezes on a Muslim, or sneezes near a Muslim, or sneezes near a picture of a Muslim. That's all bad. This week, a couple days ago, on camera, there was a man in a taxi blocking a garage when a Jewish man asked him to leave. He says, "I don't move for effing Jews," and proceeded to beat the man up. That is a hate crime. Now, it didn't get reported on. Why is that? Because the man was Arabic. And this is par for the course. There's, like, in Germany, in Belgium, this is stuff happening. Never, ever, ever is Arabic anti-Semitism or Islamic anti-Semitism ever reported on, right? Palestinians openly praise Hitler. There was recently a Lebanese minister who called for the death of all Jews and said we're going to wipe them out. Again, not reported on, but they're going to be surprised when Israel and Lebanon start to get into a war that Lebanon instigates. And that's not even the worst of it. So we had the Palestinian terrorist attack, just didn't get it covered. Fine. Okay, we had the Islamic attack. Okay, whatever. But in Canada, our judicial system just let a man go who is an ISIS supporter. So there's a man, Otham Hadman. He is a Jordanian citizen. He came here in 2002 as a refugee. I don't know what war was on in Jordan, but I'm sure he's a refugee of something. I mean, his feelings might have been hurt somewhere. I mean, there was probably not enough welfare where he was, so he needed refugee status. And he's an ISIS supporter, openly supports ISIS on social media, and has called for lone wolf attacks on Canadian infrastructure. He's outlined Canadian infrastructure and how to attack it. Called for it. Now, we're trying to deport him, but he won't renew his Jordanian passport. So, for some reason, we can't deport him. I actually wrote an article on this last year. But a new development has happened because the immigration board just let him go. Jeffrey Rempel has decided, let's just let him go into the public. He's not allowed on the internet, and we're not going to allow him to hold any weapons. That will stop him, right? Because we don't allow criminals to murder people, so they don't murder people anymore. Brilliant reasoning from the immigration board. This is literally an ISIS supporter we can't deport. And an ISIS supporter, an open ISIS supporter, who's called for attacks on our infrastructure, said, here's a dam in BC, we should attack it. Blow up. ISIS. Allahu Akbar. just letting him go because we can't deport him. Oh, we can't deport him because it's paperwork. Here's what you do. If I were prime minister, I would just say, handcuff him. Grab over and throw handcuffs on him. Throw leg cuffs. Take him on a plane to Jordan. Cuff him to a chair. Fly him to Jordan. Push him off the plane. Let Jordan handle him. That would stop this because these ISIS people are actually afraid of Jordanian and other Iraqi authorities because they know, and we all know, it's an open secret. Islamic majority countries, although they are signed onto international human rights compacts, do not have to follow them. They don't have to follow them because the left controls international relations, and according to the left, Muslims aren't people, they're toddlers. Which means Jordan could torture this man, live stream it on Twitch with King Abdullah inside of it, and no one would say anything. This is why they don't mind getting taken in by Israel or Canada or United States, because they have to follow laws. And if someone sneezes on them, a flock of international lawyers will come to their defense. But if Jordanian cuts his testicles off on Twitch in front of the entire world, and there's 7 billion people watching the live stream, no one will do anything. And he knows it, and everyone else knows it. And that's ISIS support. We just can't deport ISIS. This is pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. Also, Jessica Yana, available information. She's now he is now threatening the post-millennial journalist that's reporting on his behavior with a lawsuit. You think the journalists who are so afraid of what Trump's doing to journalists these days would support their fellow journalists? Maybe? No. What's the point? What's the point of doing that? So, all in all, this would have got a 10 out of 10 on the Rosemary Barton scale, but they did, for 25 seconds, cover Saeed Malikpour coming back to Canada. He was detained by the Islamic Republic of Iran for stupid reasons. They accused him of pornography. He's a programmer. He created a system to make it easier to download things, and people downloaded porn in Iran, so they arrested him just because they're jerks, and that's what they do. I've been over this before. But because they actually covered that, albeit for 20 seconds, this only gets a 9 out of 10 on the Rosemary Barton scale. God help us if we ever get to a 10 out of 10, because I might not survive that. So I'll see you tomorrow.